The mysterious signal. In the dark silence of deep space, the human warship Aurora sailed through the void. The ship had been part of the mighty empire for many years, carrying brave souls who dedicated their lives to protecting human interests beyond Earth. On this calm night, with stars twinkling in the distance, something unexpected happened. At exactly 300 hours, the ship's sensor array picked up a strange, repeating signal. It was a soft, pulsing sound that seemed almost like a heartbeat. The signal was not like any communication the crew had seen before. It was clear and steady, yet filled with mystery. The officers gathered in the control room, eyes fixed on the glowing screens that showed a pattern they could not explain. Captain Marcus Reed, a man known for his calm and steady nature, stood at the center of the room. He listened to the low hum of the machinery as his crew worked quickly to understand the signal. "What is this?" one young officer asked. The question hung in the air, as each person wondered if this was a call for help, a trap, or something entirely new. The science officer, Lieutenant Sarah Kim, explained in simple words, "It is a signal that repeats every 5 minutes. It does not match any known pattern of human or alien communication that we have encountered." Her voice was steady, but the look on her face showed that she was as puzzled as the rest. The crew knew that they must learn more about the source of this signal. Every life on the ship depended on their careful investigation. The Aurora changed course slightly. The signal was coming from a distant region of space, known only as the Outer Rim. The ship's engines roared softly as they sped through the void towards the unknown. The journey was long and filled with tension. As the minutes passed, every crew member felt a mix of fear and excitement. They had seen many strange things during their service, but nothing like this. Inside the ship, stories of the mysterious signal quickly spread among the crew. Some whispered that it might be a message from an ancient civilization, while others feared it could be a warning of danger. The signal was not loud or threatening. Instead, it carried a quiet urgency that made everyone feel as if time itself had slowed down. Even the veterans of many battles could not hide their uncertainty. As the ship approached the source of the signal, more details came to light. The data showed that the signal was coming from a large structure floating in space. It was not a planet or an asteroid. Instead, it appeared to be a man-made construct. The ship's scanners revealed faint outlines of what might be a space station, ancient and covered in the dust of time. No record existed of such a structure in the Empire's archives. Captain Reed ordered a full analysis. "We must know what we are dealing with," he said. "Every second counts, and we cannot let fear stop us from learning the truth." The crew worked together, combining the knowledge of engineers, scientists, and experienced soldiers. Each person played a small part in decoding the mystery of the signal. Lieutenant Kim discovered that the signal's rhythm was not random. It had a repeating pattern that hinted at a language, a code left behind by someone or something long ago. The code was simple but precise. It spoke of hope, warning, and the power of unity among the stars. The crew began to feel that the signal was not meant to harm, but to share an important message with those who could understand it. As the Aurora moved closer to the ancient structure, the tension grew even stronger. The view screens now showed a massive, silent relic. Its surface was covered in symbols and lights that pulsed in time with the signal. The crew stared in awe. It was as if the structure was alive, watching them back with a quiet, hidden intelligence. Captain Reed's voice broke the silence. "This is our chance to learn from the past. We may find answers to questions that have puzzled us for centuries," he said. His words brought hope to the crew. They realized that this mysterious signal might be the key to unlocking secrets of lost empires and forgotten technologies. It was a chance for humanity to step forward into a new age of discovery. In the following hours, the Aurora began to collect samples and data from the structure. Every sensor reading and every recorded sound was stored for further analysis. The crew worked with care and precision. They wanted to understand not just the signal, but also the purpose of the structure itself. Was it a beacon of knowledge, a warning of danger, or perhaps both? As the ship continued its orbit around the relic, the signal grew stronger. It echoed softly through the halls of the Aurora, reminding everyone of the mystery that had brought them here. In that moment, the crew felt united. They were all part of a grand adventure that stretched back through time and across the stars. Thus, in the deep, endless night of space, the mysterious signal had sparked the beginning of an extraordinary journey. The crew of the Aurora had found a puzzle that would challenge their minds and test their courage. And as they set forth into the unknown, one thing was clear. The discovery of this ancient relic would change the fate of the human empire forever. The unexpected scan. As the Aurora settled into orbit around the ancient relic, the crew busied themselves with data collection and analysis. The mysterious signal from the relic had sparked new hope and curiosity among everyone on board. However, before they could learn more about the relic's secrets, an event unfolded that would change everything. It happened on a clear, quiet shift. The hum of the ship's engines and the soft beeps from the control panels created a steady background rhythm. Suddenly, an alert rang out from the main console. The alarm was short but piercing, catching the attention of every crew member on duty. The science team, led by Lieutenant Sarah Kim, quickly reviewed the incoming data. Their faces turned pale as the new information flashed across the screens. Unbeknownst to the crew, a fleet of alien ships had been tracking the Aurora from afar. For hours, they had observed the human warship approaching the relic, their interest piqued by the unusual signals and the ancient structure. Now, without warning, the aliens activated a scanning protocol. The scan was unlike any regular sensor sweep. It was a deep, thorough, and invasive analysis of every inch of the Aurora. Captain Marcus Reed, who had just finished speaking with his officers about the relic, was interrupted by the urgent voices of his crew. "Captain, we're being scanned. The readings are off the charts," reported Ensign Daniels from the navigation station. The captain quickly gathered his top officers in the bridge. The mood was tense. The crew knew that the alien scan could mean many things: a peaceful inquiry, a test of strength, or even a precursor to an attack. Lieutenant Kim explained, in simple terms, that the scan was highly detailed. "The alien sensors are picking up every part of our ship. They are checking our weapons, our shields, and even our internal systems," she said. Her tone was calm, yet the gravity of the situation was clear in her voice. "It is as if they want to know all our secrets," she added. The ship's engineer, Officer Ramirez, worked quickly to assess if the scan was causing any harm. His fingers danced over the console as he monitored the ship's systems. "The scan is strong, but it does not seem to be damaging any of our equipment," he reassured the crew. However, his relief was tempered by the uncertainty of why the aliens would conduct such an intense scan. Outside the main viewport, the crew could now see the alien ships for the first time. They were sleek and silver, moving in precise, coordinated patterns around the Aurora. Their design was unlike any human ship. Their curves were smooth, and their lights flickered in a rhythmic pulse that seemed to mimic the mysterious signal from the relic. The sight was both beautiful and unsettling. Captain Reed stood silently, taking in the view of the alien fleet. He knew that the situation was delicate. "Open a channel to them," he ordered in a firm but measured voice. The idea was to establish contact and understand their intentions. The communication officer, Lieutenant Harris, tried to send a greeting in the universal language of mathematics and simple phrases. Moments later, a response came, a series of complex symbols and sounds that were difficult to decode. The silence that followed was heavy with tension. The crew waited, unsure if the alien's reply was friendly, a warning, or a challenge. Lieutenant Kim, her eyes scanning the data on her screen, commented, "Their message is not like any known language. It might be a test or a greeting. We must be cautious." The unexpected scan left many questions unanswered. Was this an act of curiosity, a show of power, or a prelude to conflict? The crew debated among themselves. Some felt that the aliens were merely trying to understand the human warship, while others whispered that this was the first move in a larger, more dangerous game. As the minutes ticked by, the alien ships maintained their orbit around the Aurora. The deep scan continued, and the ship's systems recorded every detail. It was as if the aliens were writing a detailed report on every aspect of the human vessel. The crew began to worry about what the aliens might do with this information. Could it be used against them in the future? Would the aliens share this data with others, perhaps even their enemies? Captain Reed took a moment to address his crew over the intercom. "We have activated our countermove," he said. "Let this signal show our strength and our desire to understand, not to destroy. We are ready to stand firm and face the unknown." His words filled the ship with a renewed sense of purpose. Every crew member, from the seasoned officer to the newest recruit, understood that they were part of a historic moment. The controlled energy began to transmit a patterned pulse that seemed to travel through space. The pattern was simple, made up of repeating beats and pauses that could be seen as a form of language, a language of peace and determination. The humans hoped that this signal would reach the alien fleet and send a clear message. The humans were not a threat, but they were also not weak. They were a people willing to learn from the past and use its lessons to secure a better future. Back on the alien flagship, Commander Zoll watched the new signal with a mix of surprise and worry. His crew, still reeling from the earlier panic, now had to interpret this bold human move. The controlled signal was unlike anything his people had ever seen. It was not a weapon, but a call for understanding. Yet the sudden change left little time for debate. The aliens had to decide quickly whether to see this as an invitation or a challenge. As the minutes passed, the tension on both sides of space grew even thicker. The human experiment continued, and the energy maintained its steady rhythm. The analysis bay filled with data, and every pulse was recorded for further study. The device worked exactly as planned, guiding the relic's energy safely while sending out the beacon signal. For the crew of the Aurora, this moment was a turning point. The daring plan was not just a reaction to the alien panic, it was a declaration of their spirit. They had taken a risk by embracing an ancient power and turning it into a tool for communication. In that controlled burst of energy lay a promise that even in a vast and mysterious universe, humans would always choose the path of courage, exploration, and hope. The future remained uncertain. The aliens' next move was unknown, and the true nature of the relic still held many secrets. But for now, the Aurora sailed forward, a beacon of human resolve, ready to face whatever came next in the endless night of space. Truth unmasked. The controlled energy beacon continued to pulse steadily from the Aurora as both human and alien forces watched with bated breath. In the quiet hum of the analysis bay, every crew member felt the weight of history on their shoulders. The experiment had worked, and now it was time for the final revelation, a moment that would change the course of the future for both sides. Captain Marcus Reed stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the glowing screens. He had led his crew with courage through mysteries, dangers, and fierce uncertainty. Now, as the data poured in, it became clear that the ancient relic was more than just a source of energy. It was a message from a long-forgotten race, designed to pass on wisdom and warnings from a time when the cosmos was young. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, her face illuminated by soft lights from the analysis displays, explained the findings in simple, steady words. "The relic's energy is a code," she said. "It tells us a story of a civilization that once lived among the stars. They built this beacon to share knowledge and to warn future travelers about a threat that they faced long ago." Her voice held both wonder and concern. The data revealed images and sounds that were like fragments of a memory, a record of an ancient age when life in the galaxy was both beautiful and dangerous. The beacon's pulses began to form a pattern that resembled a language made of light and sound. As the crew studied the pattern, the true message emerged. It was a history lesson, a record of a mighty empire that had flourished and then fallen. The ancient civilization had mastered a power that could bend both matter and mind. They used this power to create great wonders, but they also unleashed forces that threatened to tear the universe apart. Their downfall came as a result of their own ambition and the misuse of the power they had harnessed. Captain Reed and his team learned that the relic was created as both a gift and a warning. It offered advanced technology and lost knowledge to those who could understand its message. Yet it also cautioned that such power must be handled with care. The ancient race had left behind a final safeguard, a secret that could either bring a new age of enlightenment or trigger a disaster if misused. While the scientists worked to decode the energy's secrets, one of the senior engineers, Officer Ramirez, discovered another alarming detail. Hidden within the container, beneath layers of protective material, was a small device. This device, though inactive at first, suddenly came to life as if awakened by the attention it received. It began to emit a low hum and displayed a series of lights that changed colors slowly. The device contained a record of data, an archive that spoke of ancient civilizations and advanced technologies long lost to time. The archive revealed that the container was not meant for destruction, but was created as a safeguard. It held the secrets of a long-gone race, one that had mastered both technology and life itself. However, it also carried a dire warning. The archive told of a great danger that could arise if the container were to fall into the wrong hands. The power within could be used to create wonders or to unleash chaos. The ancient civilization had built this container as a last hope, a final gift to those who were brave enough to seek the truth. The more the scientists learned, the more they realized that this discovery could change everything. The human empire had always prided itself on its strength and wisdom, but now it faced a mystery that challenged the very foundation of its power. The container was a relic of a time when the universe was full of secrets and dangers beyond human imagination. Its energy was both a beacon of hope and a source of fear. Captain Reed stood silently at the doorway of the analysis bay, watching his crew work. He understood that the discovery was not just an accident. It was a message. It was a call to remember that the universe held mysteries that were far greater than any war or conflict. The container's power could be used to advance human knowledge and strength, or it could lead to ruin if misused. Reed's mind raced with possibilities, each one as frightening as it was exciting. As the hours passed, the crew of the Aurora could feel the weight of the discovery pressing upon them. They were at the crossroads of history, with a choice that would determine the future of the human empire. The terrifying discovery had opened a door to a realm of unknown possibilities, a realm where ancient wisdom met modern courage. And in that moment, every crew member knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The human response. In the wake of the terrifying discovery, the crew of the Aurora was forced to confront the reality of their situation. The ancient container had shown them a glimpse of a power that defied their understanding, a power that could either help or harm the human empire. Now, the crew had to decide how to respond. Their choices were limited, and every decision carried heavy consequences. Captain Marcus Reed called his officers to the main conference room. The room was filled with a mix of determination and uncertainty as the crew gathered around a large table. At the head of the table, Captain Reed's eyes shone with a mix of resolve and concern. "We stand at a crossroads," he said in a clear, measured tone. "The discovery we have made is both a gift and a warning. We must choose our path wisely." Lieutenant Sarah Kim, still shaken from the strange visions and the eerie hum of the container, spoke next. "Our analysis shows that the energy from the container is not just physical, it affects our minds and our emotions. It could be a form of communication from an ancient race, or it could be a trap set for those who dare to learn too much. We need to be careful." Her words were simple but carried great weight, as every crew member understood the dangers of handling a power they did not fully grasp. The first step was to secure the container and all its data. The crew worked in shifts, carefully monitoring the energy levels and ensuring that the container did not interfere further with the ship's systems. Officer Ramirez and his engineering team double-checked every circuit and safeguard. They installed additional shields around the analysis bay, determined to contain any unexpected surges from the mysterious energy. Their calm, methodical work brought a sense of order to the chaos that had taken hold of the ship. Meanwhile, the tactical team, led by Commander Lewis, prepared for the possibility of a direct threat from the alien fleet. Although the scan had not yet led to any overt attack, the aliens' intentions remained uncertain. Commander Lewis reviewed the ship's defense protocols and ensured that every weapon and shield was at full capacity. "We must be ready for any outcome," he reminded his team. His words, firm and resolute, reinforced the crew's readiness to protect their ship and their empire. Back on the bridge, communication officers worked tirelessly to decipher any further messages from the alien fleet. Lieutenant Harris and his team focused on the brief but complex symbols received earlier. They suspected that the aliens might be attempting to communicate a warning or an invitation. With every piece of incoming data, the tension grew. The possibility that the aliens could be testing the human resolve was never far from their minds. As hours passed, the atmosphere on the Aurora shifted from one of fear to one of cautious hope. Captain Reed understood that the human response needed to be balanced. Not only should they guard against potential danger, but they also had an opportunity to learn from the ancient technology. "Our strength lies in our ability to learn and adapt," he told his crew. "We must use this discovery to become better, not just stronger. Let our actions today be the foundation of a brighter future." In a quiet corner of the ship, a small team of scientists gathered around a table piled with data prints and holographic displays. They debated the nature of the energy with a mix of scientific curiosity and a deep respect for the unknown. One scientist, Dr. Elena Morris, explained, "This energy could be a bridge between technology and consciousness. It might allow us to access knowledge lost to time, or it could be a weapon far beyond our current understanding. We must study it carefully, as if each piece of data were a piece of a much larger puzzle." Her words echoed in the minds of those who listened, inspiring a determination to unlock the secrets of the container without falling prey to its potential dangers. The decision soon came to use the container's energy for a daring plan. The crew knew that they could not simply store the ancient technology away. They had to use it to understand more about the relic, and perhaps even gain a strategic advantage over the alien fleet. With the combined efforts of engineers, scientists, and tacticians, a plan was devised to harness the energy in a controlled experiment. The experiment was designed to safely channel the energy and reveal more about its properties without triggering its darker effects. Captain Reed appointed a dedicated team to oversee the experiment. This group, led by Lieutenant Kim and supported by Officer Ramirez and Commander Lewis, was charged with balancing scientific inquiry with the necessary precautions of military strategy. Their task was to connect the container to a specialized device that could record changes in energy patterns, all while keeping the human crews safe from any harmful side effects. The plan was simple but risky. It required steady hands and clear minds, as even the smallest error could lead to disaster. Before starting the experiment, Captain Reed addressed the crew once again, his voice resonating with calm authority. "We are on the edge of discovery," he said. "This is our chance to understand an ancient power that may shape the future of our empire. I ask each of you to work with care, to listen to your instincts, and to support one another as we venture into this unknown territory." His words gave the crew a renewed sense of purpose. In that moment, the Aurora was not just a warship. It was a vessel of hope and exploration. As the experiment began, the team observed the container closely. The energy readings started to change, and a soft light filled the analysis bay, casting shifting shadows on the walls. Every team member watched the monitors intently, waiting for the energy to reveal its secrets. The device recorded fluctuations that were both rhythmic and unpredictable, much like a living heartbeat. With each pulse, the data brought new insights into the energy's nature, hinting at a language written in the very fabric of the universe. At the same time, the alien fleet continued to watch from a distance, their intentions still cloaked in mystery. The crew of the Aurora knew that their response had not gone unnoticed. The experiment was a bold move, one that might force the aliens to make a decision. Would they come forward with a message, or would they remain silent, letting the humans reveal the secrets of the ancient relic on their own? In that tense, quiet moment, the human response had taken shape. It was a mix of scientific curiosity, military readiness, and a deep-seated desire to learn from the past. The crew had embraced their role as pioneers in a universe full of unknown wonders. Their actions, driven by both caution and hope, were a testament to the human spirit, a spirit that refused to back down, even in the face of unimaginable power. As the experiment continued, new patterns began to emerge from the data. The energy was not only powerful, but also strangely communicative. It seemed to send out pulses of information, as if inviting the humans to understand its history and purpose. The team recorded every detail, knowing that each bit of data could be the key to unlocking a secret that had been hidden for centuries. The human response, now in full motion, had transformed the Aurora from a simple warship into a beacon of exploration and understanding. It was a turning point for the Empire, a moment when fear was met with courage, and mystery was faced with determination. The crew of the Aurora had taken the first step into a larger story, one that promised both danger and the possibility of a new beginning. Alien panic. Far from the Aurora, the alien fleet began to show signs of inner turmoil. While the humans on board the warship worked hard to understand the mysterious container and its strange energy, the aliens were not idle. Their sleek ships circled in tight formations, their lights flickering in patterns that suggested confusion and fear. Inside the flagship of the alien fleet, Commander Zoll observed the live data feed from the sensors. His eyes widened as he saw the detailed scans of the human warship. The scan had not only revealed the presence of the container, but also hints of a hidden power that neither his people nor their enemies had seen before. "This is unexpected," Zoll murmured. His voice was filled with worry as he ordered his crew to increase the scanning resolution. He needed to understand exactly what the humans had uncovered. On the alien command deck, officers exchanged uneasy glances. They had been following the humans for some time, expecting a simple exploration mission. But now, the reality was different. The data showed that the container was emitting an energy that could disrupt even their advanced technology. Fear spread among the alien ranks. Many believed that the discovery could signal the rise of a new power, one that might challenge the balance in the galaxy. Back aboard the Aurora, Captain Marcus Reed and his officers noticed a shift in the aliens' behavior. The initial calm observation had turned into a rapid, almost frantic, exchange of signals among the alien ships. Lieutenant Harris, the communications officer, tried once again to make contact. But this time, the responses were erratic, filled with sharp bursts of static and broken symbols. It was clear that the aliens were no longer communicating in a steady, deliberate manner. Instead, they seemed to be scrambling to understand what they had seen. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, still analyzing the container's energy, looked up at the bridge and said, "Their reaction is not what we expected. It appears that our discovery has alarmed them." Her simple words carried a heavy meaning. The human crew realized that the ancient relic might not be just a message or a tool, but a potential weapon or key that threatened the status quo in the universe. Deep in the alien fleet, Commander Zoll convened an emergency meeting with his senior officers. "We have always been the observers," he said in a grave tone. "But today we see a power that could change everything. Our mission must be reevaluated. We need to decide. Do we intervene or continue to watch?" His words resonated with the assembled officers, each torn between the duty to protect their people and the fear of unleashing something they could not control. As the aliens debated, tension soared. Some officers argued that the humans might use the container to harness the very energy that had kept their civilization safe for millennia. Others believed that the power was a remnant of an ancient race, a relic meant to serve as a warning. The uncertainty led to heated discussions and a rising panic among the alien ranks. In the command center of the flagship, Zoll's hands trembled slightly as he scanned the new data. The more he saw, the more he feared that this discovery might spiral out of control. On the Aurora, the human crew remained unaware of the full extent of the alien panic, but subtle signals from the fleet's erratic transmissions reached them. Commander Lewis, the head of the tactical team, sensed that the situation was shifting. "They are scared," he said quietly to Captain Reed. "Their ships are moving faster, and their signals are not steady. We might be dealing with more than just a scan. They could be planning something drastic." Reed nodded, understanding the unspoken danger that now loomed on both sides of the void. The tension escalated when a sudden, sharp burst of energy was detected coming from the alien flagship. The sensors on the Aurora registered a spike in power that echoed the energy from the container. It was as if the aliens had attempted to mimic or even harness a fragment of that mysterious force. Inside the alien flagship, Commander Zoll made a fateful decision. With a heavy heart, he authorized a maneuver that would bring his fleet into a tighter formation around the human warship. This was not an act of aggression, but rather an effort to contain the potential threat. "We must be prepared for all outcomes," Zoll ordered, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. The alien fleet, now visibly agitated, moved with precision yet an underlying sense of panic. For the humans, the growing unease in the alien transmissions became a constant background hum on the bridge. Every crew member, from the science team to the tactical unit, knew that the next move could tip the balance toward conflict. The Aurora was caught between the promise of an ancient secret and the imminent threat of a desperate alien reaction. The once quiet expedition had turned into a standoff, with both sides bracing for a confrontation that might reshape their futures. As the minutes passed, the silence of space was filled with the tension of two civilizations at a crossroads. The aliens, gripped by panic, and the humans, driven by curiosity and caution, prepared for the next critical moment. The mysterious container pulsed steadily on the analysis table, its energy now a silent witness to the unfolding drama. In the vast darkness of space, both sides realized that the discovery was far more dangerous and far more significant than anyone had ever imagined. A daring plan. In the heart of the Aurora, a sense of urgency pushed the crew into action. The tension from the alien fleet's panic and the mysterious energy of the ancient container had reached a critical point. Now, the human team knew that they had to act quickly and wisely. A daring plan was set in motion, one that would test their courage and their ability to work together. Captain Marcus Reed gathered his most trusted officers in the conference room. The room was quiet, the air heavy with anticipation as every face showed both worry and determination. "We cannot sit and wait for the aliens to make the next move," Reed began, speaking clearly so that every crew member could understand. "We must use what we have learned from the container to take a stand. It is time for a bold countermove." Lieutenant Sarah Kim, her eyes still reflecting the strange light of the container, stepped forward. "Our studies show that the energy from this relic is both powerful and unique," she said in simple, deliberate words. "It can be controlled if we work together. We believe that it can be harnessed to send a message, one that tells the aliens we are not afraid, but also that we seek knowledge and peace." The plan was risky. The idea was to connect the container to a specially built device that would amplify and shape the energy in a controlled way. This device, designed by Officer Ramirez and his engineering team, would act like a beacon. It would send out a signal made from the ancient energy, a signal that might communicate the humans' intent to learn and explore, rather than to wage war. Commander Lewis, head of the tactical team, took charge of preparing the ship's defenses while allowing the science team to work on the experiment. "We will secure the area around the analysis bay," he assured his team. "We need to be ready if the aliens decide to react. But for now, our main focus is on using this energy safely." His calm and steady voice helped ease the tension, as every crew member knew that their lives and the future of the Empire depended on careful planning. The next few hours were busy and filled with a mix of fear and hope. In the secure analysis bay, Lieutenant Kim and her team carefully connected the container to the newly built device. The device was a simple machine, built with clear panels and switches that any person could understand. Its purpose was to guide the energy, to shape it into a controlled wave of light and sound. The crew double-checked every connection and every circuit, knowing that one small mistake could cause a dangerous surge. As the device powered up, the container began to glow brighter. The energy pulsed in a steady rhythm, matching the beat of a human heart. The room was bathed in a soft, shifting light that felt almost alive. The scientists watched the readings closely, noting that the energy was changing. It now moved in a regular pattern, a message, perhaps, in the language of energy. Outside, the alien fleet continued its watchful orbit. Their erratic transmissions had not stopped, but now there was a new element in the mix. The aliens were noticing the change on the Aurora. Their own sensors picked up the controlled pulse of energy that now echoed from the analysis bay. The signal was different from the mysterious relic's earlier call. It was steady, purposeful, and carried a sense of calm resolve. Captain Reed, ever the composed leader, addressed his crew once more. "We have nothing to hide. Our purpose here is to learn and protect. Let us trust our training and our instincts," he said, trying to instill confidence in his team. His words brought a brief moment of calm, and the crew returned to their stations with a renewed focus. Every person on board was now more alert than ever, knowing that their actions in the coming hours could shape the future of human-alien relations. The unexpected scan had turned the mission into a high-stakes encounter. The human warship, once an explorer of ancient mysteries, now found itself at the center of an interstellar confrontation. The alien fleet, with its unknown intentions, hovered silently, a constant reminder of the fragile line between curiosity and conflict. In the midst of uncertainty, the Aurora continued its mission. The crew, now united by the shared experience of the scan, vowed to uncover the aliens' true intentions and the deeper secrets behind the relic. The scan was a clear signal, a message that the universe held many surprises, and that every discovery, no matter how small, could lead to moments of profound change. As the scene closed on the bridge, the crew of the Aurora prepared for the next phase of their journey. The alien scan had not only revealed the presence of a distant enemy or potential ally, but it had also reminded them of the vast, mysterious universe they were determined to explore. The terrifying discovery. After the unexpected scan, the crew of the Aurora worked tirelessly to understand the new data. Lieutenant Sarah Kim and her science team pored over the readings, searching for clues in the massive amounts of information sent by the alien fleet. What they found was a truth that made their hearts race and their hands tremble. Deep in the heart of the ship, hidden away in a forgotten storage bay, an unusual chamber was discovered. It had not been used for many years, and the crew had assumed it was empty. However, the alien scan revealed strange energy readings coming from within its walls. With great care, a small team led by Captain Marcus Reed and Lieutenant Kim entered the chamber. They expected to find old equipment or perhaps a long-lost piece of technology, but nothing could have prepared them for what lay ahead. Inside the dark room, the team found a large, sealed container. It was made of a material that looked neither entirely metal nor stone, and it pulsed with a faint, eerie light. The container was marked with symbols and designs that were not known to the Empire. These markings hinted at an origin far older than any recorded in human history. Every line and curve of the symbols seemed to hold a story of power and mystery. The chamber felt as if it were alive, its energy shifting like a living thing. Lieutenant Kim carefully scanned the container with her handheld device. The readings were beyond anything she had seen before. "This is not just an old piece of technology," she explained in a calm, yet awed voice. "It appears to be a source of a unique energy, one that we do not fully understand. It is powerful, and it is dangerous." Her words sent shivers down the spines of everyone present. The energy was both beautiful and terrifying. Captain Reed ordered the container to be moved to the ship's main analysis bay. The process was slow and methodical, as every precaution was taken to avoid triggering any hidden dangers. The crew worked in unison, their actions filled with a mix of excitement and dread. As the container was secured on the analysis table, the lights in the room dimmed, and the mysterious glow from the container filled the space with an otherworldly light. In the analysis bay, the ship's top scientists began their work. They ran tests and measurements, trying to determine the nature of the energy within the container. The results were startling. The energy was unlike any form of power that humans had ever encountered. It seemed to be a blend of physical and mental energy, capable of affecting not only machines but also the human mind. The energy pulsed rhythmically, as if it were a heartbeat, and it began to interfere with the ship's own power systems. Soon, strange visions and thoughts began to appear among the crew members who were near the analysis bay. Some said they saw images of ancient battles, while others felt as if they were hearing voices speaking in a long-forgotten language. The mysterious energy seemed to reach out and touch the very souls of the people who came close. Even the most stoic of the crew could not help but feel a deep sense of foreboding. Outside, the alien fleet had not stayed silent. Commander Zoll, now calmer but still cautious, watched as the beacon's message reached out across the void. His own people had debated for hours, unsure of the best course of action. Now, the clear communication from the humans' controlled signal forced them to re-examine their fears. The aliens saw that the humans were not simply using the relic as a weapon. They were trying to understand it, to learn from the past and avoid repeating ancient mistakes. Inside the Aurora, emotions ran high. Some crew members felt a surge of pride. Here were humans reaching out to the stars with open minds and brave hearts. Others, however, understood the weight of the warning. The message spoke of balance, the promise of knowledge tempered by the need for wisdom and restraint. It was a reminder that progress, however ambitious, must always be guided by respect for the forces of nature and the unknown. As the final layers of the message unfolded, the ship's systems displayed a sequence of symbols that signaled one last command. The relic was not meant to remain silent forever. In its last act, it initiated a process that slowly integrated its energy with the Aurora. The process was gentle at first, a subtle glow on the ship's panels, a quiet hum that resonated through the corridors. Then, the integration became more pronounced. The vessel's instruments picked up a rising tide of data that combined the ancient message with the ship's own energy fields. Captain Reed called the crew to attention one final time. "We have received the full message," he announced. "This relic is a key. It is a reminder of both our potential and our responsibility. The knowledge it carries can help us build a better future, but it also warns us of the dangers of power without wisdom." His words were simple, but they carried the weight of destiny. In a carefully controlled operation, the crew began to use the relic's integrated energy to power a new system, a system designed to share its wisdom with the entire empire. The idea was to create a network that would allow this ancient knowledge to be studied and understood by all, so that the mistakes of the past could be avoided. The project, though risky, promised to unite the diverse worlds of the human empire in a common goal of learning and growth. At the same time, the alien fleet slowly adjusted its stance. The clear and sincere message from the humans, combined with the relic's historic warning, opened a door for dialogue. Commander Zoll reached out through the universal language of symbols, mirroring the beacon's pattern. In that moment, two civilizations, one ancient and one emerging, found a common ground in the shared quest for understanding. The final revelation was not a single moment of triumph or despair. It was a turning point. Both human and alien forces realized that the relic was a bridge between worlds and eras. It held the potential to inspire a new age of discovery and cooperation, but only if its power was used wisely. As the Aurora sailed through the silent depths of space, its lights mingling with the stars, the crew felt a renewed sense of purpose. The relic's message had been unmasked, and its truths were now part of their journey. They understood that every discovery came with a price, a call to responsibility and a promise of hope. And in that promise lay the future of not only the human empire, but of all life that dared to reach for the stars. Thus, with the truth unmasked, the crew of the Aurora prepared to chart a new course, a course defined by the lessons of the past and the limitless possibilities of the future.